Have you ever wondered what would happen if the moon crashed into the Earth? It's an unthinkable scenario, isn't it? The moon, our ever-present cosmic companion, spiraling out of its orbit and hurtling towards our home planet. But what if? Think about this for a moment. The Earth and the moon are locked in a delicate dance of gravitational forces, each influencing the other's movements in space. They've been partners in this celestial ballet for billions of years, maintaining a balance that is crucial for life as we know it. But what if the moon, for some inexplicable reason, strayed from its course? What if it came hurtling towards us, an unstoppable force of nature? The outcome would be both terrifying and fascinating. It's a scenario that is as much about physics and astronomy as it is about the fragility of life. So, let's dive into this terrifying yet fascinating scenario. In the unimaginable event of the moon crashing into the Earth, the initial impact would be catastrophic. Imagine a colossal celestial body about 1/4 the size of our planet, hurtling through space and colliding with us. The moment of impact would be nothing short of apocalyptic. The moon's massive size and incredible velocity would cause an explosion upon impact. This explosion would be equivalent to the simultaneous detonation of several billion nuclear bombs. The shock wave from this explosion would race across the surface of the Earth at supersonic speeds, flattening anything and everything in its path. Buildings, trees, mountains, nothing would be spared from the destructive force of this shock wave. In the wake of the shock wave, the Earth would be rocked by earthquakes of unprecedented magnitude. The seismic shocks would ripple across the planet, causing ground to crack open and mountains to crumble. These earthquakes would be so powerful that they could potentially alter the very shape of our continents. But the destruction wouldn't stop there. The enormous amount of energy released by the impact would heat up the Earth's atmosphere, leading to widespread fires. The ash and smoke from these fires would blot out the sun, plunging the world into darkness and causing a drastic drop in temperature. Simultaneously, the impact would displace enormous volumes of water, triggering tsunamis on a scale we've never seen before. These gigantic waves would sweep across the oceans, engulfing coastal cities and low-lying areas in a matter of minutes. The Earth's rotation could also be affected. If the impact were to alter the Earth's axial tilt or rotational speed, it could lead to drastic changes in our climate and weather patterns. All these immediate effects would be catastrophic, causing widespread devastation and loss of life. However, these are just the initial consequences. The long-term effects of such an event, which we'll delve into in the following scenes, are even more dire. But this is just the beginning of a series of catastrophic events. Following the initial impact, Earth would experience a series of disastrous events. That's right, the aftermath of such a collision would go far beyond the initial shock. Let's start with the creation of a ring of debris. Imagine a cloud of dust and fragments, some the size of mountains, others as small as pebbles, all swirling around our planet. This debris, initially ejected from the impact site, would gradually coalesce, forming a ring around Earth, much like the rings of Saturn. A beautiful yet ominous sight. Then there's the potential for a nuclear winter. The enormous amount of dust and debris thrown up into the atmosphere would block out the sun. The amount of sunlight reaching the surface of the Earth would be severely reduced, causing temperatures to plummet. This sudden and dramatic drop in temperature could lead to a long, bitterly cold period similar to a nuclear winter. And what about the Earth's rotation? Well, the impact would likely affect that too. The moon's mass crashing into Earth could cause our planet to spin faster, shortening the length of a day. However, the exact effect would depend on many factors, including the angle and speed of the collision. And let's not forget the seismic shock waves. These would ripple around the Earth, causing earthquakes and volcanic eruptions on an unprecedented scale. Even the relatively stable tectonic regions could be affected, leading to widespread devastation. In the oceans, the impact would generate enormous tsunamis, capable of wiping out coastal regions and causing unimaginable damage. The heat from the impact could also evaporate vast quantities of water, adding to the dust and debris in the atmosphere and exacerbating the cooling effect. So, you see, the aftermath of the moon crashing into Earth isn't just about the impact, it's about the chain reaction of catastrophic events that would follow, events that would reshape our planet and the way we live. And while all this is happening, life as we know it would drastically change. As you can imagine, the impact of the moon crashing into Earth would have severe consequences for all life forms. Picture this, an event so cataclysmic that it would dwarf anything that our planet has experienced in its 4.5 billion years of existence. Let's start with the most immediate and devastating outcome: mass extinction events. Just like the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs 65 million years ago, the impact of the moon would cause a global catastrophe on an unimaginable scale. The energy released would be equivalent to billions of atomic bombs, resulting in an explosion that would incinerate everything in its path. A devastating wave of fire would sweep across the planet, turning forests into ash and cities into ruins. The sky would darken, choked with dust and debris, blocking out the sun for years, even decades. This would lead to a sudden drop in temperature, plunging the Earth into a deep freeze, what scientists refer to as a nuclear winter. But life as we know is resilient. Despite the harsh conditions, some species might survive, albeit in drastically altered forms. These survivors would then have to adapt to a new world, one where the food chain has been dramatically disrupted. Herbivores might find themselves without plants to eat, while carnivores might find their prey species decimated. The struggle for survival would be brutal, leading to an intense period of evolution and the emergence of new species adapted to the harsh new world. What's more, the changes wouldn't just be biological. The moon's impact would also reshape the Earth's geography. Mountains would crumble, oceans would boil away, and new landforms would rise from the ashes. The world map as we know it would be redrawn, and the Earth would be transformed into a strange alien landscape. In the end, the world as we know it would become unrecognizable. Life would go on, but it would be a life unlike anything we can currently comprehend. In the wake of such a catastrophic event, Earth would eventually stabilize, but it would be a very different place. Picture this: a world reborn from the ashes of the old, a phoenix rising from the ruins of its own destruction. The shattered fragments of our former moon would eventually coalesce, forming a new celestial body in the sky. This newborn moon, a ghostly echo of its predecessor, would be a constant reminder of our planet's tumultuous past. However, it would also serve as a beacon of hope, a testament to the enduring resilience of the cosmos. Earth's rotation would undoubtedly be altered by the impact. The length of our days and nights could change, possibly leading to a shift in our timekeeping systems. Imagine a world where a day is no longer 24 hours, but perhaps 30 or even 40. Such a change would cause a ripple effect, impacting everything from our sleep patterns to our work schedules. The climate, too, would undergo drastic changes. The massive amount of dust and debris thrown into the atmosphere could potentially block out the sun for years, leading to a nuclear winter scenario. This could cause temperatures to plummet, dramatically altering the face of our planet. Ice might cover vast swaths of land that were once lush and green, and deserts might transform into ice-covered wastelands. But life, as we know it, has a knack for adapting and surviving. In the face of such harsh conditions, new life forms could potentially evolve, adapting to the cold, the darkness, and the altered landscape. These creatures, born out of necessity, might be unlike anything we've ever seen before, a testament to the enduring spirit of life itself. The Earth would essentially be reborn, but it would be a long and difficult process. A process marked by upheaval and change, but also by resilience and survival. A new Earth emerging from the shadow of its past, ready to write the next chapter in the grand story of our universe. With such a catastrophic event, one can't help but wonder, could humanity survive? Well, let's explore that question. If the moon were to collide with Earth, the immediate impacts would be devastating. But what if we could prepare for it? What if we could find ways to survive? One possibility might be to live underground. The Earth's crust could provide some protection against the harsh conditions on the surface. We could construct vast networks of tunnels and shelters, complete with air filtration systems to keep out the toxic dust and gases. We'd need to generate our own power, perhaps through geothermal or nuclear energy. And we'd need to find ways to grow food, maybe through hydroponics or other forms of indoor farming. However, living underground would present its own challenges. We'd have to deal with the psychological impact of living in confined spaces without natural light. We'd need to protect against seismic activity, which could be increased due to the moon's impact, and we'd need to manage our resources carefully, as there would be no way to replenish them from the surface. Another possibility might be to leave Earth altogether and live in space. We could build habitats in orbit or on other planets or moons. We already have the technology to do this, at least on a small scale. But scaling it up to support the entire human population would be a monumental task. We'd need to find ways to generate sufficient food and water to recycle waste and to shield ourselves from cosmic radiation. Living in space would also have its own challenges. We'd need to contend with the effects of microgravity on our bodies. We'd need to deal with the isolation and the vast distances between us and any possible help. And we'd need to find ways to maintain our mental health in such an alien environment. Humanity's survival would be uncertain, but not impossible. We've faced challenges before, and we've always found ways to adapt and overcome. If the moon were to crash into Earth, it would certainly be the biggest challenge we'd ever faced, but with enough preparation, ingenuity, and determination, we might just be able to survive. So what does this all mean for us? We've journeyed through the unthinkable, an event of cosmic proportions, the collision of the moon with our home planet, Earth. Our exploration has unearthed a cascade of catastrophic consequences, a spectacle of celestial calamity that has left no aspect of life untouched. We began with the initial impact, a cataclysmic collision that would release energy on a scale difficult to comprehend. This devastating event would trigger a chain reaction of cataclysmic phenomena, including earthquakes, tsunamis, and a dramatic shift in the Earth's axis. Next, we delved into the aftermath of the collision. The impact would send a plume of debris into space, which would eventually rain down on Earth, causing a global firestorm. We'd be plunged into a long, dark winter as sunlight struggled to penetrate the dust-choked atmosphere. The effect on life was distressing to contemplate. With the loss of sunlight, photosynthesis would cease, leading to the extinction of plant life and, subsequently, the collapse of the food chain. The majority of species would not survive this new, harsh environment. We then pondered upon the new Earth that would emerge from this destruction. Our once blue planet, teeming with life, would be transformed into a desolate, barren world. The moon, our constant companion in the night sky, would be no more. The possibility of survival, though slim, was also considered. Humans, with their ingenuity and adaptability, might find ways to endure in this post-cataclysm world, but it would be a life vastly different from the one we know. In conclusion, this exploration of a hypothetical Moon-Earth collision serves to remind us of the importance of the moon to our planet. It's more than just a celestial body that graces our night sky. It's a stabilizing force that has shaped the Earth and life as we know it. While this scenario is highly unlikely, it's a reminder of just how crucial the moon is to life on Earth.